Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshta Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Visheshna Shri Deshitarne. So this morning, preparation for going to work, I was trying to think of Prabhupada and this being his Vyasa Puja Day. And I was thinking of surrender in terms of surrender. Surrender and austerity. And how even after 40 years or more of being involved around devotional service, surrender has still doesn't come easy. But I began to remember many years ago when I was a young devotee or a young aspiring devotee, and how surrender seemed to be so easy. And questioning why was surrender so much easier then. And just reminded me of a particular time centered around Prabhupada in Los Angeles. We were down in Los Angeles for some reason. Prabhupada was there. That would be a good enough reason for anybody to be somewhere in particular. It was very common many years ago that devotees would travel halfway around the world to be with Prabhupada, even for a day or more. So we were in San Francisco, but we were down in Los Angeles. Prabhupada was there, and he was, as usual, giving class every day, going on morning walk. And this was probably only a year or two or something like that, not very long. And it was Prabhupada's habit that he would come out. He lived upstairs in the temple, one of the buildings next to the temple, and connected. And then he would come down and go out this kind of side door and get into his car, which is parked on an alley, in order to go for his walk. So it was very common for the devotees to all gather on this kind of a platform that was right there by the stairs where he would come out, and just to see Prabhupada walk from this door, maybe 10 feet to the car. It's that exciting being, with Prabhupada, that just to see him walk 10 feet was something you really wanted to do, something you were willing to surrender for. So this particular day, he was there for a couple of days, we were there for a couple of days, and this particular day was very cold. In Los Angeles, even in the winter, sometimes it can be very cold. So it was very cold, but in those days, me and most of the devotees were pretty austere, because I didn't wasn't wearing shoes. I'd come around to wait. Prabhupada just had a little thin chadar. The ground was cold, the air was cold, everything was cold. But I was thinking, I'm the only one here. There's nobody else here. When Prabhupada comes out of that door and gets, going to his car, I'll be the only one, because nobody else was coming. But in my mind, I was thinking that, oh boy, it's getting late. What's happening? What's going on? Because if you didn't get into the temple room for the Bhagavatam class, you wouldn't be able to get in, because there's so many devotees are all packed and coming out the door. So this was a great dilemma in my mind. I started to fight back and forth. Should I run over and get into the temple room and be in class, or should I continue to wait for Prabhupada? So finally it got to just about a few minutes before the Bhagavatam was going to start. I said, well, something must have happened. And so I ran around back to the entrance to the temple. And sure enough, it was just like packed. The entrance was full of devotees. The temple room was full of devotees. And, there was no chance of getting in. But the next thing happened, Donahue came up to me and he said, do you want to put sandalwood pulp on Prabhupada's forehead? I don't know why. I didn't really know Donahue, probably at the time. And so I said, sure. So that gave me access into the temple room. And then Prabhupada came in to the temple room and greeted the deities as usual, one after the other. And then he took his place on his Vyasa-san. And of course I was there right by the Vyasa-san waiting for Prabhupada to take a seat so that I could put the sandalwood pulp, something I'd never done before. And was a little bit nervous about it. And so Prabhupada sat down, and I came over in front of the Vyasa-san, and he just leaned forward very slowly like that, and I was able to put the sandalwood pulp on his forehead. And it was kind of like a very transcendental situation for me, putting that sandalwood pulp on Prabhupada's forehead. It was like definitely, well, what I thought, to me, it felt like I put my hand in an electric socket. I know that's a mundane example, but I felt very much electrified by that intimate association with Prabhupada. And I felt that somehow Prabhupada had rewarded me for my attempt at getting the darshan on his morning walk, which I later found out that Prabhupada wasn't feeling that well that day, so he didn't go on his walk. So on this day, Prabhupada's appearance day, I tried to think how I can muster up that kind of youthful surrender. As we get older, I'm finding it, harder to surrender everything, surrender in such a way. So I want to try to pray to Prabhupada that he will help me and help all of us just surrender more and more. Hare Krishna.